Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the entire team for this wonderful introduction. I am truly grateful and I am humbled. So, before I start my story, I have to make a confession. I am extremely nervous, as you can hear from my voice. This is my first ever TED Talk. I have never done this before. My heart is really beating very fast, and if I stutter, stammer, take indefinite pauses, please bear with me, okay? Okay, so let's begin. Hi, I'm Shilpa Shirodkar, born in a simple middle-class Marathi family in Mumbai. My father, Nitin Shirodkar, used to play Ranji Trophy cricket and eventually worked for Air India. My mother, Vanita Shirodkar, worked for the Centaur Hotel and used to model for extra income. My grandfather, Pandurang Rao Shirodkar, was a homeopath doctor, while my grandmother, Meenakshi Shirodkar, was a very famous Marathi film actress. Not many of you know, but I actually started my career at the age of 7. As a child artist, I did a film called Samay Ki Dhara. And as a teenager, I did a film called Janam, where I played the sister to Kumar Gaurav, but that film was directed by Mahesh Bhatt. On the last day of shooting, which was the second day, Bhatt Saab told my mother something really nice. He told her, Vinita ji, agar aap aapki beti ko actor banana chahti ho, if you want to make your daughter an actor, or if she wants to be an actor, please give her professional training and introduce her to the industry. And before I knew it, I was studying, I was learning acting, I used to learn classical dance and also learn jazz. Typically, my day used to begin at 7 a.m. and I used to come home only at 10:45. But there was never a moment where I'd ever told my mother that, Ma, I am tired, or I don't want to do this, or I'm bored. I just had one dream, and that dream was to become an actor. In 1986, I was in the 7th standard when I signed my first big film. Now, that film was so big that not only the legends of the industry were there, but also the Chief Minister of Maharashtra had come. It was that big. There was a buzz in all the newspapers that there is this girl, Shilpa Shirodkar, and she has arrived. It was literally like a fairy tale. This girl from nowhere was living her dream. But God had another plan. That film never took off. And eventually, 2 years later, it got shelved. But you know what? I didn't give up. I continued to work. My day still began at 7 a.m. and I did come home at 10:45 with the hope that I will make it. 2 years later, when the news of the film being shelved came out, I was approached by another director, another big producer, and I was like, whoa, I am lucky. But that film didn't take off either. Now, there was a buzz, but the buzz was not that I am lucky, but Shilpa Shirodkar is jinxed. Now, that was hard. Hard enough to break anyone, but I didn't. My parents never made me feel like a failure. They told me, you know what, Shilpa, you have a dream and we are with you. So I continued to work. In 1986, when I was in the 7th standard, I think 7 is my lucky number. So when I was in the 7th standard, the 1986 plan is already done. So in 1989, after this whole thing was finished, I signed my first film. That film, I had only one song, a couple of scenes, and my photograph was not even there on the poster. But for me, that didn't matter. I had arrived in an industry that was calling me unlucky. I signed film after film. I got the opportunity to work with legends like Amitabh Bachchan, Rajnikant, Govinda, Mithun Chakravarti, Anil Kapoor, Jackie Shroff, Akshay Kumar, Sunil Shetty, Madhuri Dixit, Sri Devi, Rekha ji, who is my favorite as well. And I have to tell you something, guys. I only and only learned. Today, my principles, my discipline, my ethics, my professionalism comes from these legends. I am so happy and I'm so proud of myself that I did not give up. Dejection only and only made me stronger, not only as a professional, but even as a human being. In a span of 11 years, I completed 65 movies. And I am so happy. I have the best memories of each and every movie that I did. Big, small, it didn't matter, because what mattered was Shilpa Shirodkar had arrived in an industry that I call home today. In 2000, I met this amazing man called Aparesh Ranjit, and I got married, and I said yes to him in 1.5 days. 6 months later, I was married and I had to move to the Netherlands. A year later, I moved to New Zealand and I knew that my vacation was over. I had to do something. So what did Shilpa do? Shilpa picked up a course in hairdressing. 9 months later, I had a diploma in hairdressing. And I even worked in a salon. But as you all know, the busiest times for hairdressers are the weekends. And my banker husband, who was always home on the weekends, things were not working out. So I decided to give that up. And I told my husband, I said, Abs, you know what? I can't do nothing, so please make my resume. He smiled at me and he said, come, let's sit together and do it. I still remember he asked me, so qualification? And I looked at him and I said, 9th pass. He said, experience. And I said, please put everything that I've learned in the industry, because obviously I didn't have much to tell. Soon my resume was done. And can you believe it was the shortest resume ever? But that didn't matter. I was so proud of the fact that I hadn't lied about anything in that. The next day I woke up and started applying for jobs. And can you believe I did get interview calls? My journey in the corporate world started with buying a suit. So I wore a suit, got all ready, and I still remember I had 2 interviews to do in one day. And I came back with 2 offer letters. It was like this typical film scene where you know how the heroine or the hero goes interview dene aur bolte aap kal se shuru ho jao. It was like that. Now there was this girl who was 10th fail, who even found it hard to understand the accent, had to choose as to which company she wanted to join. I chose Dun & Bradstreet. I worked in that company for 1.5 years. I achieved my targets every month. And see my name on that board every month only and only made my heart smile. In 2003, I gave birth to an amazing baby girl, Anushka. Just when everything was going fine, I was just beginning to believe that I'm the best mother in the world. My husband comes in 2004 and says, come on, pack your bags, you're moving to London. And I was like, oh God, Anushka's only 6 months old. Do we have to move? And he says, yeah. Better opportunities, we have to go. What did Shilpa do? She packed her bags, took her daughter in her hands, and we moved to London. That's when the shadows actually creeped in. I suffered from postnatal depression for 2 years of my life. Just before I knew that things were getting better, I lost my parents. In a span of a year, my parents were no more. Depression came back with a vengeance. I tried everything. Doctors, counselors, therapists, antidepressants. Nothing was working. I only knew one thing, and that was that I wanted to come back home to my India and be close to my sister. My husband, who was doing extremely well at that time, couldn't see me suffer like that and decided to pack his bags and we moved to India. when we came back, I met this amazing hypnotherapist who changed my life. I started living again. In 2010, we started our own production company. We even produced a Marathi film. And by the grace of God, I got the opportunity to act again. In 2013, I started doing television. I did 3 shows in a span of 4 years. And I still call it my golden period because I was so happy. I was reliving my dream again of being an actor. In 2015, my husband got a job opportunity and moved to Dubai. And in 2017, I joined him back there. I was again doing nothing. But this time, I didn't let the nothing disturb my mind. So what did Shilpa do? Shilpa began to explore Dubai. I went out, I met new people, I made new friends, I even joined a kitty party, guys. I used to play cards, I used to also play housey. I did everything I had not got an opportunity to do. I was busy and I was happy, and you cannot even imagine how happy I was. Just when, again, I was believing that everything is done and this is my life, COVID happened. My husband lost his job and we had to move back. You know where? London again. But this time, I remembered a therapist who told me something really wonderful. She had told me, Shilpa, if you can't change your situation, don't moan about it. Accept it, have your faith in God, and something good will come out of it. And I did just that. In 2023, I turned 50 years old. My husband came to me and said, so baby, what do you want? And I looked at him and I told him, I said, abs. And for the first time, I did not think how he would feel. I only wanted to tell him how I felt. And I told him, I said, abs, I love you too much, but I am not happy here. I want to go back to India. I want to see if I get work. And even if I don't, I want to be in India because that's my happy place. I know that if I am happy, I can keep all of you happy. He gave me a hug and he said, go baby, go and catch your dreams. And that's what I did. In June of 2024, I moved back to Mumbai. I didn't have a plan. The only thing on my head was that I was going to call people and ask them, I need work. And I did exactly that. Well, I must tell you that I wasn't lucky. And that was okay because I wasn't relevant. I wasn't around. I took that in my stride. And I prayed to God, and I had faith in myself. And guess what? August 2024, I got a call from Bigg Boss. Well, that changed my life. It opened doors for me. The call came and I said, yes, I'm doing it. And look at me, guys, I'm 52 years old. I spent 103 days in that house. I learned so many things. Number one, don't ever let other people's point of views or opinions make a difference to your life. I also learned that we need to value people in our lives who we take for granted every single day. And to be grateful for the smallest things in your life. I must tell you one thing. Education is extremely important. Please don't take it for granted. And even if you're a failure academically, it is okay. Because you learn every day. I learned how to be an actor. I learned how to be a hairdresser, although I can't cut hair really well, but I did. I also learned how to be a professional. I learned how to be a mother. Life is all about learning. Difficulties keep coming because life isn't supposed to be simple. But take those things in the positive way and move on. Don't sit. I had options. I could have just sat and moaned about how it is to, look after a 6-month-old all by yourself in a new country where you don't even have friends. I could have moaned about the fact that people are not excited that I'm trying to call them and they're not reciprocating like I expected them to. But I didn't do that. I said, you know what? It's okay. It'll be fine. I had faith in myself. I call myself God's favorite child. And the reason being is I believe that God throws difficulties on those who only have the ability to face it. I always tell my daughter Anushka, don't be embarrassed to ask questions. I know your generation believes in ChatGPT and Google, but trust me, the actual stories and experiences you will hear are from your seniors, are from the elders in your own family. So wake up, explore the world, go and interact with people. You all can also be here, even if not today, tomorrow, or maybe 10 years later. Don't give up. Don't let other people bring you down. You are all wonderful. And we all have a talent. No one is bigger or smaller. We all have our own skill that we realize much later in life. So always be there, tuned into yourself, because that's the only thing that will make a difference. That's me signing out. Thank you so much.